Deanna, it's so good to see you. I'm very excited to talk to you about this incredible series that you're working on. How are you?
I am good. I love that we are sitting in front of each other in this world right now, given the fact that you and I go way back. So it's so nice to be chatting with you today.
I know. I can't believe this is what where we're at in our lives right now. It's very exciting to see how much growth we've been through. But let's talk about this incredible series that you're working on. Tell me a little bit about the metaverse and the concept of Nuevo Norte and Tercera Cultura. Tell me, what's it all about? What does it mean to you? And how did this project come about for you?
Yeah, so to start out, Nuevo Norte is an opportunity for me to really lean into my Puerto Rican experience. I really wanted this world to feel as if it's a juxtaposition between like hard hitting topics and a world that like you're familiar with my work. It's very vibrant and squishy, and it's not serious. And so I wanted to like create this world where we can have hard conversations about cultura, specifically Tercera Cultura, but in a world where you can feel at ease and at peace. And the way that this came about was, Meta reached out to me and they wanted to see if I was interested in expanding my skill set. A lot of people are familiar with my work being in the digital realm and 2D and murals and such. But this is like my first time going into the metaverse and working with softwares like the Horizon Worlds and working with teams like Meta and Inspire to take the world that I've always wanted to create and make it a reality and have other people join in. So yeah, I would say in a nutshell, it's an opportunity to really celebrate my Puerto Rican experience.
And you mentioned earlier you are a multidisciplinary artist. So, can you, what is it like to now extend your work into, VR, AR? Was that something that you were ever considering, that you ever thought of? What's it like that now that you have created a world so immersive like this?
Being multidisciplinary allows me and gives me the opportunity to explore and to like really lead with my curiosity. And so working within the metaverse, I feel like is no different. If anything, it's adding more value and more possibility for me to have more equity in the work that I do and create moving forward. So really it felt like it was another extension to what I already do. And being able to now see myself in this kind of space has really opened up my heart and mind and eyes, to be able to be like, okay, so what can I do next as a multidisciplinary? So there's really no cap to that, and this experience has taught me that.
Okay, so Diana, you created a concept and design an immersive VR world um, through Horizon Worlds entitled Nuevo Norte, correct? Can
Mhm.
you share with me what inspired Nuevo Norte and the origin of the name Nuevo Norte?
Yes. So Nuevo Norte was inspired by the streets that I partially grew up on in Puerto Rico and Ponce. This was the street that my grandmother and our family lived on. And so I wanted to take Nuevo Norte and kind of like establish it, as me and the Meta team kept talking about it, as a new North, and
Mm.
being that as Puerto Rican, in my experience with the sense of belonging, I wanted to create a world that essentially allowed me to, one, celebrate my Puerto Rican experience, but also feel as if that I belong, because I think there's a commonality between different Hispanic cultures where we feel that if we're not enough of this or not enough of that, then we can't call ourselves that. But I think with this experience, I get to celebrate that, and really, kind of shine light on my upbringing in Puerto Rico.
And in the immersive world, there's so many different cool spaces. There's like a little cafecito lounge. There's like a club of some sort. Can you
Mhm.
tell me a little bit more of what went into those rooms and those lounges? I know that there was aspects of it that reminded me so much of Miami, and I
Mhm.
don't know if there was inspiration from Miami in it. And I think you had mentioned that there were some Easter eggs too, and I'm gonna pick your
Mhm.
brain about them afterwards. But first, can you tell me, what went into, how did you decide what to create in these different spaces?
Sure. So for Nuevo Norte, I wanted to highlight those different experience of being, you know, Puerto Rican. And so like the three aspects of it is like the cafecito. And I think, you know, when we think about cafecito time, that's such a thing that is so common between all the different cultures. And I wanted to highlight that experience of like me growing up in Miami, and you know, my grandparents mainly raised me when I was a kid. So I would like into the room, and the fresh smell of cafe and toast and butter would be like, you know, ready for me on the kitchen table. So I wanted to like highlight that experience. And then also, you know, being Puerto Rican, we're vivacious, we love music. And so the discoteca is like an opportunity to express that too. And my love for movement, and my love for salsa and merengue and reggaeton, and I wanted to like also create these larger than life animals that I feel like I really resonate with. And I think a lot of people are familiar with my work with the tentacles. So when you're in the discoteca, there's a big
Mm.
octopus like dancing with you, and then you go into cuéntamelo, which is an opportunity for you to sit down with a friend or a loved one and have conversations that feel are hard to have, but hopefully with the environment you're welcomed and you feel at ease to have these conversations. And in that place it's very 70s inspired with the conversation pit. We have floating manatees, you know, being Floridian, I wanted to highlight partly being Floridian, but also being Puerto Rican. So you see flamingos, you see manatees, you see a coqui, you see
The
the
flor de maga.
flamboyant, yeah, the flamboyant. You see the cafecito, la greca. These are all things that may look that may be, you know, called differently, but the experiences itself, those nuances, I feel like we can all resonate with.
Did you also incorporate your grandmother's name in that cafecito room?
I didn't, but you know, that's
Oh.
actually a good
'Cause
idea, and I
I
will
saw
hold that.
Abuela Yaya, and I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
that was your grandmother.
No, but that's
Oh my
actually a
gosh.
good idea, and I'll save that for a rainy day.
I know you talked about belongingness, and are there other feelings that you wanted to evoke when somebody walked into your immersive world?
Essentially, I think the biggest thing I want anyone to feel is that they belong there, and feeling that sense of pride and being able to kind of go back and reminisce about their own experiences being Latino or Latina. I think it's really important that like I share this with the world, because I essentially also want to hit on the fact that like Puerto Ricans, we all look different. We have different experiences. We're all brought up differently. And so I want people to feel that as well, that even though they were raised differently or they didn't have that true or that real rooted at home experience, that they too belong. And so this is a celebration of belonging.
Thank you. Um, let's see. I had another question for you.
Hmm.
One second. So there's going to be a Nuevo Norte AR mural during Art Basel in Miami this year. Um, it's the first ever one that Meta's a first ever mixed reality for Meta. Um, can you tell us about that? You know, what the event's going to be like, what your participation looks like, and what it means to you to have this sort of AR mixed reality experience for us to enjoy during Art Basel?
Sure. I think this experience really speaks on the fact that I'm multidisciplinary artist, right? And I think we had the opportunity to really play into that. So for Art Basel, what we're going to be doing is showcasing this experience in three different ways. The first way will be if when attendees are there, they'll be greeted with an 8 by 20 foot mural. This is like my iteration, my take of Nuevo Norte. And the second component will be is when people take their phone and open up Instagram, those elements are going to come to life and kind of allow that person to be a part of it as well. And then the third one, which I consider as a foundation, is a VR experience. And experiencing Nuevo Norte and Horizon Worlds. So the attendee will be able to experience my world in three different ways. And that again, I feel like really lends itself to the fact that I'm multidisciplinary. So you'll get like a multi-sensory kind of experience at Art Basel.
Perfect. And then finally, why is it important for you that diverse communities and cultures like that of the Latino community are included in the conversations when it comes to the future of emerging tech. Why was it, do you feel that it's necessary for you and others in the Latino community to be involved? And how will this support and advocate for our community in the future?
Ultimately, I think it's going to give us back our power and back our control of the narrative of what being Latino is and what that looks like. Going back to what I said about being Puerto Rican and how, there's Puerto Ricans across the globe that look so differently. They experience different things, but that does not make them any less Puerto Rican. And I think having the opportunity for other cultures to be involved in this space to tell their story, take back that control and narrative, I think it's very important, and I think this is gonna rebuild our legacy and give us back longevity in what cultura looks like.
I love that answer. And then I have one more just for fun, just because being Latina, you know, trying to explain the metaverse and immersive reality, virtual reality worlds to my family is so difficult. So I would, now that you've worked on this series, how did you explain this to your family? What did they, say about it? Have they tried it out? I just wanted to hear, what that conversation was like with them.
This is so funny. I still can't get my parents to connect to Wi-Fi, so it's been kind of difficult to kind of tell them like, mira, this is the world, this is a whole different space. And so it, even though it's difficult, it has been fun to kind of educate and enlighten my parents of like, look at the future of art, look at where it's going. And even though they're still not really grasping that, I think they're willing and open-minded to see where that goes. So we're still having these conversations and trying to teach them what this looks like. But being daddy's girl, anything that I do, he's very proud of.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so
Mhm.
much, Tiana.
Thank
It's so
you.
good to share this space with you. And thank you for
Mhm.
leading in the art world for our community as well and for advocating for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maribet, and I hope to see you there.
Yes, of course.